Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a really fascinating period of life. It's often misunderstood.
Right.
Emerging adulthood,
Yeah.
that stretch.
Yeah.
Late teens through the 20s.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, or maybe you're in that stage yourself, you've probably felt things shifting.
Oh, absolutely. And what's truly striking, I think, is just how much the landscape has transformed.
Right.
Our sources today, Dr. Varda Konstam's work especially, they really emphasize that the old milestones, the traditional markers of adulthood,
Yeah.
and the timeline for hitting them, it's evolved dramatically. It's like a genuinely new world for that parent-child relationship.
So the old rules just don't cut it anymore.
Not really, no. They just don't seem to apply.
Okay. So our mission today is to explore what all this means, for the young people navigating this.
Yeah.
They call it wonderful yet perilous transition.
Wonderful and perilous. That sounds about right.
And crucially, how can parents actually support them so they flourish, not flounder?
That's the key question.
We're going to look at the big picture stuff. The economic, the social shifts shaping this new reality.
And then get practical.
Yeah, get into some really pragmatic ways to handle challenges, like living together again, finances, managing conflict day to day.
Sounds good.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is emerging adulthood?
Well, the term itself came from Dr. Jeffrey Arnett, a developmental psychologist.
Right.
And it describes that period, typically, say, 18 to 29.
And that range itself is interesting because it used to be 18 to 25.
Exactly. It got expanded, which really just reflects how young people are actually living this stage now. It's taking longer.
Okay.
And Arnett identifies 5 core features that help us get it. Identity exploration, instability, self-focus, that feeling of being in between.
Not quite adult, not quite adolescent.
Precisely. And also a sense of vast possibilities. The future feels wide open.
So if you connect that to the bigger picture,
It makes sense why this generation is taking longer, to step into those traditional adult roles compared to previous ones.
so it's not a problem to be fixed necessarily.
Not at all. It's more like a natural development, given how much more complex the world is. Plus, we're living longer.
What I found really compelling in the sources was this different kind of anxiety today's emerging adults carry.
Yeah.
They're genuinely worried, about the environment, global stability, political, economic.
Big stuff.
Yeah. Even questioning if it's responsible to have kids, given the state of the world.
Which is a heavy burden to carry.
But then there's this flip side, this, powerful belief in their own invincibility.
Right. It's almost like a coping skill, isn't it?
Exactly. To help them keep pursuing goals, despite all this instability around them.
It's a fascinating paradox, and it leads to that critical question. Is their ambivalence about adulthood actually reasonable?
You mean, is it justified?
Yeah. And our sources suggest absolutely yes. It doesn't deserve contempt or, being dismissed.
Okay, that's important.
And the good news here, and this is really a note of reassurance for parents,
Okay.
very few emerging adults actually fail to launch. That whole narrative, it's largely a myth.
Really?
Yeah. By age 30, 3/4 are married or parents. Nearly all have stable jobs, financial independence.
And they're not living at home.
Hardly any are still living with their parents by then.
Okay, that is reassuring.
Mhm.
So what does define adulthood for them then, if not the old markers?
Well, there's actually pretty strong consensus on this across genders, generations.
Yep.
It's about accepting responsibility for yourself, making independent decisions, becoming financially independent.
So internal qualities more than external events like marriage.
Exactly. And they see these things as gradual, incremental steps, not an overnight switch you flip.
And marriage specifically isn't seen as the key thing.
Nope. Interestingly, marital status just isn't viewed as essential to being an adult.
Okay. Let's shift gears a bit then. Let's talk careers.
Right. Because this is a big area of change.
Definitely. Emerging adults today, they're getting on that career track more slowly, more setbacks.
Taking, 5 to 10 years longer on average to really cement their work and personal lives compared to, say, the boomers.
And again, it's not about blaming them.
No, absolutely not. It's recognizing the career world itself is just profoundly different.
Right. It's like no one rewrote the handbook for working life.
Exactly. So they feel confused, maybe even a bit gypped.
Yeah. And that belief that they shouldn't settle for a job that isn't fulfilling.
That gets challenged constantly. And it leads to a lot of tension, anxiety, sometimes real despondency about the future.
Which brings us to The passion dilemma.
Ah, yes, the passion dilemma. Many were raised with this idea, follow your bliss.
Expecting work to be, like, meaningful, engaging, fun,
Exhilarating, even. And, oh yeah, pay well, too.
but finding that magic combo
It's proving really elusive, which often looks like indecisiveness to parents.
when it might actually be.
Experimentation, trying things out, figuring it out.
Let's make this concrete. Our sources have some great examples, like Connor's story.
Connor grew up comfortable, right? Taught himself car repair, guitar.
Yeah, and actually made money, selling cars he fixed, playing in band.
Despite, scattered college tries, odd jobs. By 26, those play activities.
He showed real skills, goal-directed behavior, planning, follow-through.
It really shows how seemingly random stuff can be clues to building career momentum, maybe in a less traditional, more creative way.
Like the source said, the classic nerd can become a legendary warrior.
Exactly. Then you have Brenda's story. Very different.
Right. Comes from a successful family, vocationally speaking.
But she struggles. Anxiety, shame, rejecting good job offers.
Her story really highlights some of the deeper reasons for career indecision, doesn't it?
It does. Lack of self-understanding, maybe not enough info about careers, or just a general trait of indecisiveness that shows up elsewhere, too.
And maybe the most fascinating bit here is choice anxiety.
Oh, choice anxiety. The supermarket aisle analogy is perfect.
Right. Staring at 50 kind of soda and you just freeze.
Or that aerially experiment with the doors. People wasted clicks just trying to keep all the doors open.
Even when it cost them. No penalty for letting one close.
It shows that irrational compulsion to keep doors open. Driven by fear of loss, the immediate pain, even if it hurts long term.
Buridan's donkey, starving between two haystacks.
Exactly. Paralyzed by choice.
So what's the practical advice for parents watching this happen?
Well, first, encourage exploring. Look at career lectures online. Do research with them.
Be a partner in exploration.
Right. For general indecisiveness, recognize it's a habit. It won't just disappear. Be patient.
And for choice anxiety.
Help them see the cost of keeping all options open forever. Frame taking any action, even taking a job they might dislike.
As information gathering.
Precisely. It's exploration, not a life sentence. Disliking a job tells you something valuable.
And the really tough one. Parents need self-honesty.
Oh, absolutely. Are you pushing your dreams, your wishes?
Or truly supporting their choices.
Because supporting their choices, even the ones you wouldn't make, that's what builds their confidence.
Okay, moving from careers. Let's talk relationships.
Another huge area of change.
It seems like a lot of the values parents taught did take root, like equal partnership, self-development, before marriage.
Right. But then you get the be careful what you wish for effect.
How so?
Well, some emerging adults, especially women, now prioritize their career ahead of relationships and marriage.
Which is a massive shift from previous generations.
Huge.
Okay, so what about cohabitation then? Living together before marriage.
Yeah, there's a common belief among emerging adults that this prevents divorce. Like, it's a trial run.
But the research?
Doesn't really support that, actually.
No.
Couples who cohabitate are, statistically, slightly more likely to divorce later.
Huh. Why is that?
It's nuanced. It's not simple cause and effect. It might depend on why and when they move in together. The meaning behind it matters.
Gotcha. And then there's the role of friendship in tech. This seems huge.
Oh, massive. Our sources highlight people like Colette, stress from work,
Grueling hours, yeah.
and her friend group. That's her crucial support system. Stimulation, entertainment. Less pressure than a romantic relationship.
So group hangouts replacing one-on-one dating sometimes.
Very often, yeah. It's a different social dynamic.
And technology fuels this.
Radically. It's easy now to keep up with dozens, maybe hundreds of friends from different parts of your life. School friends, work friends, online friends.
Like we're wired for friendship now.
It feels like that sometimes, and that big network offers a sense of, like, accumulated mass, constant connection. It can feel more stable than just one intense romantic bond.
This ties back to identity too, right?
Yeah.
Wanting to know yourself first.
Definitely. That Jerry Maguire line, "You complete me."
Yeah.
That feels like yesterday's sentiment. This generation tends to believe investing in yourself first actually makes a successful marriage more likely later.
Which explains the delay in marriage.
Yeah.
Late 20s, 30s.
Exactly. And that delay is strongly linked to career status and feeling financially stable.
So the experimentation in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just sowing wild oats.
No, it's often framed as mature strategy, a way to reduce risk.
Learning what's a good fit.
Right. Trying to land on firmer ground than maybe their parents did, especially if they saw divorce. So there's more anticipation, deliberation, negotiation, less just jumping in based on passion alone.
So considering all that pressure work uncertainty, relationship deliberation, does the pursuit of fun make more sense?
Absolutely. When you look at the stress, the uncertainty, fun becomes a vital coping mechanism.
A way to compensate or escape.
Both, probably. Compensate for the seriousness elsewhere, maybe react to seeing parents' career plans not pan out, or just avoid thinking about student loans, the environment, future security, all that heavy stuff.
And alcohol often fits into that fun picture.
It does. And interestingly, drinking habits seem more tied to your social network than just family history.
It's seen as
All the freedom, none of the responsibility. Like a last hurrah before the full weight of adult demands kicks in.
so should parents worry?
Well, the sources suggest that as long as it's not, destructive or compulsive, maybe let the good times roll.
Really?
Yeah, the idea being be thankful they're getting the partying out of their system before taking on family and career responsibilities, assuming it doesn't become a real problem, of course.
Okay. And finally, on relationships, divorce.
Largely destigmatized now, right? Seen as a normal family transition, unfortunately.
But the impact is still real.
Oh, absolutely. Especially for emerging adults from divorced homes. It can create wariness, a feeling that relationships aren't secure.
But the key is how they process that loss.
Exactly. How they integrate it. As one source beautifully put it, a history devoid of loss is only part of a history. It's about making meaning from it.
Let's dive deeper into technology then. It's so integral.
Absolutely central. The internet is like this mystical book of all knowledge.
Right. Instant info on anything.
And it's largely self-policing, like Wikipedia. The community sort of ensures accuracy or at least corrects errors quickly.
And that access creates a feeling of power.
Potency, mastery, yeah. And it's become totally normal to get help from complete strangers online on any topic.
Which can be comforting, knowing others have asked the same questions.
Definitely. Think about Alexis Gordon, 26 years old, choosing voicemail to end a relationship.
Instead of texting or calling live.
Yeah, she saw it as the ideal method for a clean break. It just shows how tech reshapes basic interactions.
And the internet as a huge collection of distinct neighborhoods.
Love that analogy. People find their tribes, share info, joke, debate, help each other.
And you can shift personas.
Fluidly. Click from a professional forum to a fan group. It's like changing outfits or locations instantly. Business meeting to the beach, just like that.
But what about the downsides? How does this affect us negatively?
Well, unfortunately, the internet makes unleashing aggression really easy. Net rage.
Easier than road rage, even.
Some sources say yes, especially when someone's competence, character, even looks are attacked online.
We see flaming, angry insults.
And worse, cyberbullying, which is targeted, deliberate, really malicious.
The long-term impacts, we don't really know yet.
It's too early. But for teens, emerging adults, social reputations can be shredded almost instantly. It's brutal.
So how do we manage this? Are there controls?
There are unwritten rules, netiquette, like knowing all caps is shouting, that helps temper things a bit.
And self-policing, like the cooling off period for angry emails?
Yeah, taking a breath before hitting send, that helps. And increasingly, we're seeing legal action, legislation stepping in as actual authorities against cyber aggression.
But it's not all bad. The internet also boosts altruism.
It does. Giving and receiving help is often easier online. Anonymity can free people up, especially emerging adults, to share sensitive stuff they wouldn't reveal face-to-face.
Leading to strong connections.
Absolutely. Strong attachments form because of that deep sharing. So ultimately, this tech, this communication, it's neutral. It reveals our best and our worst selves.
What about social networking sites specifically? Like Facebook. What stood out to you?
How they dissolve barriers. You instantly learn about people, display this mosaic of your life, even kind of rewrite your self-concept over time.
This flexible community, where you work relationships less intensely.
Yeah, keeping them alive takes less perceived effort. And the idea of community has just massively expanded. Virtual, non-virtual. They blend seamlessly.
So it's not necessarily people hiding online instead of living real life.
For the majority, no. Some columnists push that narrative, but mostly these sites enhance face-to-face stuff, announcing gatherings, keeping old friendships from fading.
Like Penny's story.
Exactly. Made a close friend on a Broadway musical fan site, and they met up in person. It just underscores how real these online relationships feel to this generation.
When does it become too real? When does a hobby become obsession?
That's the million-dollar question. Parents are often the first to notice when it tips over.
Ethan Gilsdorf's question is provocative. Is this obsession with fantasy heroics a kind of cowardice, an inability to take real-life risks?
It's a tough question. Are gamers hiding? Maybe.
The time commitment alone is huge.
Right. Less time for non-virtual interaction. And the skills learned in-game might not translate well.
What are the warning signs of dependence?
Difficulty meeting obligations work, school, less enjoyment from other things, feeling restless without the game, not being able to cut down even when you want to, persisting despite clear problems it's causing.
Like Josh's story, the 22-year-old gamer.
Yeah. He finds a safe identity online. It bridges that gap between his real self and his ideal self. He connects with others without the risk of rejection he feels offline.
So what makes the games themselves so compelling, beyond the escape?
Easy access, fast connections, amazing graphics, and that ability to experiment with a fictional persona. It creates this true meritocracy.
Where effort is rewarded instantly.
Exactly. Social rewards, kudos,
Yeah.
respect for leveling up, adrenaline rushes. The classic nerd becomes a legendary warrior thing again, developing a heroic persona, a global reputation. You can see how that invites compulsive use.
So does gaming ease social anxiety or cause it?
Often it's both of the above. They find companionship, empowerment, control, huge upside potential without the usual social risks.
Intriguing.
Often holistic, cognitive behavioral therapy, motivational interviewing, focusing on building adaptive coping skills in other life areas, creating balance.
Ultimately, all this tech, Facebook, smartphones, brings immediacy, fluidity.
But also more anxiety, information overload, too little space to just think. You're always available.
Mark Bittman's secular Sabbath idea is interesting.
Yeah, carving out dedicated time away from screens for reflection, connecting with yourself, finding that lightness of being.
So the core idea is balance.
Absolutely. Technology offers freedom, but it can also cripple. Parents need that watchful eye, yes, but also an open mind.
Don't jump to conclusions about their cyber life.
Right. But know the warning signs. Losing interest in offline activities, never unplugging, becoming secretive, and actually embracing tech, understanding their world that can forge closer bonds.
Okay, let's talk parenting strategies. We've all seen movies like Failure to Launch.
Right. Capturing those parental frustrations, often comically.
So can parents minimize the bumps and bruises?
The short answer from our sources is yes. But it takes work. Braving awkwardness, real self-examination, adapting to these new realities.
Because everything's more uncertain, less predictable now?
Exactly. Parents are navigating terra incognita, unknown territory, and the old maps, the old rules are obsolete.
So while anxiety is inevitable,
Parents can lessen it by really internalizing that fact. The vast majority will launch. They're delaying, not ditching careers, marriage, kids.
and the best thing parents can do is
Counterintuitive, maybe? Don't hurry the process. Let go of your expectations. Let them be who they are. They'll likely get to readiness faster that way.
which means asking ourselves tough questions.
Are my worries, my criticisms really about my needs, not theirs?
Madeline Levine talks about how well-meaning parents can actually hinder development.
Yeah, by pressuring too much, focusing only on external success, being too intrusive. It's subtle.
Which is why renegotiating that relationship is key, especially if they're living at home.
Absolutely. Parents have to consciously allow them space to disengage from that emotional dependence, to learn to regulate their own behavior, their own self-esteem. It's about empowerment.
Let's use those metaphors the sources offered. First, riding a bicycle.
Ah, yes, that moment you have to let go. Terrifying.
But necessary, trusting they'll be okay.
And your job isn't to prevent the fall or cushion every bump, unless it's life-threatening, obviously.
Your job is to be there after the fall, emotionally.
Right. That's how they build resilience. By falling and getting back up, knowing you're there for support, not to prevent the learning.
And the second metaphor, watering plants.
Right. My client, Deborah, feeling suffocated by your parents' enmeshment, too intertwined.
And you shared your office plants analogy.
Yeah, how they thrived with benign neglect. I learned what they needed, gave good enough care, and trusted their resilience.
And her mother, who overwatered her own plants.
Got the message, applied it to Deborah, and Deborah started to thrive. Less hovering, more trust.
This leads to that tricky idea of too much parenting.
It's complex. Society doesn't offer enough support sometimes, so parents step in. Grandparents raising grandkids, parents taking on huge college debt.
Which can feel exploitative sometimes.
It can. But on the other hand, that statistic, over half of emerging adults connect with parents daily. That's not necessarily coddling. It often shows they value the connection, the support.
But when they return home to live, that's even harder.
Often, yes. Harder than if they'd never left, because everyone's gotten used to independence.
Dr. Waters' idea, they need to hit a bit of a wall.
Yeah. The situation needs to feel palpably uncomfortable and strange, so they don't just slip back into old dependent roles.
Because coddling reinforces irresponsibility.
Exactly. Parents need to create hard edges, limits, expectations.
So if your emerging adult is moving back home, what should you do?
Dr. Bradley suggests asking critical questions before they move in.
Like what?
Like really analyzing what went wrong before, what supports need to be in place this time, counseling, financial controls, specific concrete goals for their stay.
Because the goal is always independence, not long-term dependence.
Always. So a goal might be, say, 5 credible job applications a week, or volunteering full-time to build discipline.
The message isn't a threat.
No, it's, we love you too much to see you become totally dependent on us. Growth needs some unease. Parents have to be okay with allowing that discomfort.
Okay. Let's unpack conflict. It doesn't just stop, right?
No, but the intensity, the frequency, that usually lessens as they gain self-acceptance and autonomy.
And managed well, conflict can actually be positive.
Absolutely. It can build trust, closeness. Think about a conflict you've had that ended well. What made it work?
Flexibility, mutual respect, finding solutions together, empathy.
Probably all of the above.
Let's revisit Caroline and Alicia. Caroline lies about funding her trip.
And Alicia nags constantly because her core belief is, I cannot let Caroline fail.
That fear traps them both.
Totally. A self-defeating dance. Alicia needs to shift that belief from, I cannot let her fail, to, Caroline must grow into her own life, choose her own path.
One change in thinking could change everything.
It really could.
And lying. That's so frustrating for parents.
Deeply frustrating. But it often comes down to autonomy.
Meaning?
When emerging adults feel their decisions are respected, even if disagreed with, without being condemned, lectured, judged, they're just less likely to lie.
So parents have to demonstrate acceptance repeatedly.
Even when it's hard, yeah.
What about Ryan, Joe, and Maria Collins? Ryan, 25, revolving door back home, quitting jobs.
And the parents, Joe and Maria, anxious, keep supporting him financially. Maria feels alone in it.
So the shift for them
Is to focus on their needs. To say, calmly, we are unwilling to continue supporting you financially at age 25. Do you have suggestions for how we can find a reasonable solution?
It puts the ball in his court, invites responsibility without blame.
Exactly. Changes the dynamic.
And that magic ratio from Gottman, 5 positives for every negative.
Powerful tool. Not about being fake, but about being more reflective, more validating, even when addressing problems. It shifts the overall tone.
Okay, some quick practical tips for managing conflict.
Sure, let them vent without interrupting. Use I statements. I get worried when, not you're irresponsible when.
Avoid always and never.
Definitely. Ask how questions, not accusatory why questions. How can we solve this instead of why did you do that?
Listen actively, speak calmly, eye contact.
Basic, but crucial. Small shifts, big impact.
The story of Ina really highlights cultural clashes too.
Yes. 28, teacher, immigrant family. Parents disapprove of her career, her unemployed artist boyfriend.
They see her as selfish, dishonoring the family.
But Ina values meaning in her work, loves her boyfriend, accepts his instability. She's caught between two worlds.
Feeling judged, but wanting their respect.
It's a common struggle. The key is working through those differences, trying to find mutual understanding, maybe compromise. Conflict, handled well, helps her differentiate, mature the relationship.
Okay, let's tie this together with this core concept, working with the grain.
Right. Parents lose sleep trying to fix things in their kids' lives.
Only to realize later it was totally out of their control.
Sanja Lubomirsky's point, maybe 40% of happiness is within our control. The rest, we have to let go.
So the question for parents is, are you fighting the 60%? Trying to control what's not in your jurisdiction?
Good way to put it. And this applies to the emerging adults, too. Most of your parents' worst fears, they won't happen.
They're delaying, not ditching.
Exactly. Careers, marriage, kids, it's delayed. And generally, the relationship does improve over time. Tensions ease, communication gets better. That's reassuring.
And the really hard part, growth happens through mistakes, setbacks, discomfort.
And the advice is, try to let those mistakes happen.
Let them fall off the bike.
Unless the consequences are truly dire, yes. Step in if needed, but then step back. Give up control again. And resist blaming yourself for their struggles. Actively resist that.
Why go with the grain? What does that really mean?
Think about that exercise. Lift your right foot, circle it clockwise. Now try drawing a number 6 in the air with your right hand at the same time.
Your foot changes direction.
Stubbornly. No matter how hard you try, it fights its wiring. You struggle to go against the grain.
So the analogy for parenting is,
Like a woodworker studies the natural grain of the wood. They work with it to bring out its inherent beauty. Going against the grain destroys the wood, makes an inferior piece.
so whatever one resists persists.
Exactly. Pushing against their nature just creates pushback. But if parents celebrate, engage their child's natural strengths, their inclinations,
You invite those qualities to blossom.
right, it also means deeply accepting. Your emerging adult is not you.
They're different. Different talents, different challenges.
They'll solve problems their own way. Love that uniqueness. Cherish it. Don't try to stomp it out or make them a clone of you.
And finally, parents shouldn't try to privatize these problems.
Meaning, trying to fix everything individually within the family unit alone.
Because broader issues, eating disorders, substance abuse, depression, anxiety, they're linked to.
A lack of structural supports in society. It's not just an individual or family failing. Society needs to do its part too. It's not all on parents' shoulders.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground today. This whole new landscape of emerging adulthood.
Yeah, the career challenges, relationship shifts, the whole tech piece.
And how parenting strategies really need to adapt.
I think the core takeaway is pretty clear, isn't it? The old rule book, it's obsolete,
Throw it out.
pretty much. Understanding this new reality, acknowledging the unique challenges they face, and most importantly, learning to work with the grain.
But with who they truly are, not who you wanted them to be.
Exactly. That's essential for their well-being and yours too.
So for you, our listener, here's a final thought. Something to chew on. What old rule are you maybe still clinging to? One that might be holding you, or an emerging adult back from really thriving today.
And maybe what's one small intentional step you could take this week? Just one thing to start working with the grain a bit more, allowing for that natural growth.